My name is Obina, and I'm not one for telling tales unless they're worth hearing. But this one's different. It's the kind of story that sticks to your ribs like a good plate of pounded yam and egusi stew. It's about Chioma, a yam seller in our village of Umuokoro, and the secret she found buried in a sack of yams. It's about how one woman's courage turned our market upside down and showed us what it means to stand together. If you're watching this, grab a seat, because this isn't just a story. It's the truth as I saw it, and it's got a hook that'll keep you glued till the last word. Picture this Umuokoro's market square at dawn. The air thick with the scent of roasted corn and dust kicked up by traders' feet. The sun's just peeking over the palm trees, painting the sky orange, and the market's already alive with voices. Women haggling, men shouting prices, children darting between stalls with baskets balanced on their heads. In the heart of it all was Chioma's yam stall, a small patch of shade under a faded umbrella, piled high with yams as big as your arm. Chioma was no ordinary trader. She had a laugh that carried across the market like a church bell and eyes that could spot a cheat from a mile away. But she was poor, like most of us, scraping by on the little she earned selling yams her brother harvested from their family's small plot. That morning, I think it was a Tuesday because the air smelled of fresh akara frying nearby, Chioma was sorting her yams when she felt something odd. She'd just bought a sack from a new supplier, a man named Chief Okeke, who rolled into Umuokoro in a shiny black SUV that looked out of place next to our mud brick homes. Chief Okeke was a big man, not just in size but in presence, with a voice like thunder and a gold watch that gleamed brighter than the sun. He called himself a business tycoon, said he was here to modernize our market. Most of us didn't trust him, but his yams were cheap, and in a village where every kobo counts cheap is king, Chioma sliced open the sack with her machete, expecting nothing but yams. But as she dug through the tubers, her fingers brushed something hard, wrapped in cloth. She pulled it out, frowning, a small leather-bound book, no bigger than a prayer missal. It was weathered with pages yellowed like old palm wine. She flipped it open and her eyes widened. It wasn't a book of prayers, it was a ledger filled with numbers, names, and dates, written in tight, careful handwriting. Chioma wasn't much for reading. She'd left school after primary 6 to help her family. But she knew enough to see this wasn't ordinary. There were entries about market levies, land sales, and sums of money so large they made her head spin. One page had her own name, V. Chioma Nwosu, listed next to Stall 47 unpaid levy, 50,000 naira. I was there buying yams for my mother when Chioma's face changed. She looked like she'd seen a spirit. "Obina," she whispered, pulling me close. "This book, it's trouble." She showed me the ledger, her hands shaking. I'm no scholar either, but I could tell it was a record of something shady. Chief Okeke's name was all over it, linked to deals that didn't add up. Money collected from traders like Chioma, marked as levies for market upgrades that never happened. There were notes about buying up market land, turning our stalls into some fancy plaza for big city shops. Our market, our livelihood, was being sold out from under us. Now let me paint you a picture of Umuokoro's market. It's not just a place to buy and sell. It's the heart of our village. It's where Mama Ngozi sells her pepper soup that burns your tongue. Just right where old Mazi Okoro tells stories of the Biafran War while peeling oranges. Where children learn to haggle before they learn to read. The market is our history, our meeting place, our survival. The thought of it being taken away hit Chioma like a slap. She stuffed the ledger back into the sack and kept quiet, but I could see her mind racing. That night, Chioma came to my family's compound, her wrapper tied tight around her waist, like she was ready for battle. We sat under the mango tree in our yard, the moon casting shadows on the red earth. "Obina," she said, her voice low, This book could ruin Chief Okeke. But if I speak out, he'll come for me. He's got money connections, maybe even the police. She wasn't wrong. Chief Okeke wasn't just rich. He was powerful, the kind of man who could make problems disappear with a phone call. But Chioma wasn't one to back down. She'd lost her husband to a factory accident 2 years back, and since then she'd raised her 2 boys, Keen and Chidi, on her own. She had a fire in her, the kind that poverty and pain only make stronger. "What do we do?" I asked, feeling the weight of it. I was just a carpenter's apprentice, not exactly a hero, but Chioma had a plan. "We need the market. Women," she said. "They're the ones who'll listen. If we show them the ledger, they'll fight with us." The market women of Umuokoro were a force, tough, loud, and fiercely protective of their trade. If anyone could stand up to Chief Okeke, it was them. The next day, Chioma started small. She went to Mama Ngozi's soup stall, where the air was thick with the aroma of uziza and crayfish. Mama Ngozi was the unofficial leader of the market women, a stout woman with a laugh as big as her pots. Chioma showed her the ledger, whispering so the other traders wouldn't hear. Mama Ngozi's face hardened as she scanned the pages. "This man thinks he can steal our market," she said, slamming her ladle down. "Not while I'm breathing." Word spread like wildfire. By the next market day, a group of women, Mama Ngozi, Adaku, the cloth seller, Neka, the vegetable trader, and others, gathered in the back of Chioma's stall. They pored over the ledger, their voices rising with anger. "He's been charging us extra levies for years," Adaku said, waving a page that listed her stall's debts. "And for what? No new roofs, no water pumps, nothing." Neka pointed to a line about a land deal with a Lagos developer. "They want to turn our market into shops for rich people. Where will we go?" The women decided to confront Chief Okeke, but they needed proof that would hold up, not just a book that could be dismissed as fake. Chioma suggested they watch him, see who he met, and gather more evidence. It was risky. Chief Okeke had eyes everywhere, from the market guards to the local boys he paid to run errands. But the women were determined. They split tasks. Adaku would talk to other traders, Mama Ngozi would rally the elders, and Chioma would keep the ledger safe. I got roped in too, mostly because I was there and Chioma trusted me. My job was to follow Chief Okeke's driver, a lanky man named Uche, who always parked the SUV near the market's entrance. I borrowed my cousin's old bicycle and trailed Uche one evening as he drove to a bar in the next town. There, I saw him meet a man in a suit, someone who looked like he belonged in Lagos. Not our dusty roads. They exchanged envelopes and I caught snippets of their talk, words like land title and demolition. I reported back to Chioma, my heart pounding. This was bigger than we'd thought. Days turned into weeks, and the tension in Umuokoro grew thick. Chief Okeke started visiting the market more often, smiling his big smile promising development and progress. He even brought a politician from Onitsha who gave a speech about how the new plaza would bring job. Some traders were swayed, times were hard, and jobs sounded good. But Chioma and the women held firm. They started a secret meeting group calling themselves Ndi Ene, the mothers, and met at night in Meme Ngozi's compound, where the glow of kerosene lamps lit their faces as they planned. One night, Chioma brought her boys, Kini and Chidi, to the meeting. Kini, the older one, was quiet but sharp, always listening. Chidi barely ate, kept asking why his mama was so worried. "We're fighting for the market, NWAM," Chioma told him, ruffling his hair. "It's where we belong." That moment stuck with me. Chioma wasn't just fighting for herself, but for her boys, for their future. It made me realize how much was at stake. The turning point came when Adaku overheard Chief Okeke talking to the market chairman, Mazi Okoro. The old man, usually so wise, was nodding along as Chief Okeke promised him a cut of the plaza profits. Adaku told the women, and they were furious. Mazi Okoro was supposed to protect the market, not sell it out. They decided it was time to act. Chioma suggested a protest, but not the kind with placards and shouting. "We need to show the village what he's doing," she said. "Let's use the market itself."
The plan was bold. During the next big market day, when buyers came from Onitsha and beyond, the women would stage a market meeting. They'd spread the ledger's contents without showing the book, letting traders and customers piece it together. Chioma spent nights copying key pages by hand. Her fingers stained with ink, she gave the copies to trusted traders who tucked them into their wrappers and baskets. Market day arrived, and Umuokoro was packed. The air buzzed with the usual chaos: goats bleating, hawkers shouting, the clink of coins changing hands. But there was an undercurrent, a tension only those in on the plan could feel. At noon, when the sun was high and the crowd thickest, Mama Ngozi stood on a crate and called for silence. "Ndi Umuokoro," she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. "We have something to say." The market stilled. Traders, customers, even the children selling groundnuts turned to listen. Mama Ngozi held up one of Chioma's copied pages. "Chief Okeke has been taking our money," she said. "Levies for nothing, plans to sell our market." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Adaku and Neka passed out more copies, and traders began reading aloud. Names, numbers, deals. The evidence was undeniable. Chief Okeke, who'd been lounging by his SUV, pushed through the crowd, his face dark with anger. "Lies," he bellowed. "Who dares spread this nonsense?" That's when Chioma stepped forward, her chin high, holding the original ledger. "I found this in your yams, Chief," she said, her voice steady. "Explain it." The crowd erupted, shouts, curses, questions. Chief Okeke tried to laugh it off, calling Chioma a poor yam seller with no sense. But the traders weren't having it. They knew Chioma, trusted her. They didn't know this outsider with his fancy car. Mazi Okoro, caught in the middle, tried to calm things, but the women turned on him too. "You knew!" Adaku yelled, and the old man hung his head. What happened next was chaos, but the good kind. The traders refused to pay Chief Okeke's levies, demanding answers. Buyers from Onitsha, shocked by the revelations, vowed to spread the word. By evening, Chief Okeke's SUV was gone, and rumors said he'd fled to Lagos. The ledger was handed to the village council, who promised an investigation. Mazi Okoro stepped down as chairman, replaced by Mama Ngozi, who everyone agreed was the real heart of the market. Chioma became a quiet hero. She didn't boast, didn't ask for praise. She went back to her yam stall, her boys helping her stack the tubers. But the market felt different, stronger, like we'd remembered who we were. The women of Ndi kept meeting, not just to watch for trouble but to plan for the future, a cooperative to buy yams in bulk, a fund to fix the market's leaky roofs. As for me, I'm still just Obina, the carpenter's apprentice. But I saw it all: Chioma's courage, the women's fire, the market's heart beating strong. This story isn't just about a ledger or a greedy chief. It's about what happens when people stand together, when a poor yam seller can outsmart a billionaire because she's fighting for something bigger than money. If you're watching this, take this lesson from Umuokoro: your voice, your truth, can move mountains, or at least save a market. Leave a comment with your thoughts and stay tuned for part 2. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you won't miss what happens next.